For most of my life, since being a teenager, I've had two really strong interests. The first one is looking at the world around me and observing everything that happens. And the second has been a constant companion, the making and keeping of a daily journal. Whether it's something like an A5 notebook, this Moleskine, or a smaller A6 pocketbook, those tools are indispensable to me and I've used them every single day. Let's look at some of the benefits that I've seen from decades of journaling. And I'm using another journal to share my notes because I live by these beautiful things. The first point, I think, is your journal is a way of anchoring yourself in the world that you inhabit, in the space that you occupy. Having a journal to be an anchor place, a foundational point in your life, is hugely useful and very important. I've seen three particular benefits from this first strong reason for keeping a journal. The primary one is that it allows you to stay in that place of being thoughtful, being pensive and considering what happens, looking at the ideas as they come to you, thinking about things that happen and how you feel about those things. So anchor yourself through being thoughtful. The more time you spend in your thoughts, the more introspective you become. And it's this introspection that gives you an edge because you're able to look at what's happening, think about how you might like to respond, and then implement those thoughts in the way that you take actions later. And the final thing I think about this first point about anchoring yourself with your journal is it's very calming. If you know that your ideas are captured in something as basic and also as beautiful as a journal, it brings a sense of peace to the way you go through your days. From one day to the next, you know what you're thinking, how you respond to the things that are happening around you, and what actions you're going to take. And that gives you an incredible sense of calm. My second point about keeping a journal as the number two benefit is about capturing detail. You've got a pen and a notebook, and that's all you need to be able to think about the day that you've had and possibly the day that you're going to be having tomorrow. And you're setting yourself up by capturing detail, putting it down in your journal, and whether that is details of interactions with people, details of what your plans are for this coming week, what the weather is like, how you might get from one city to the next, the type of transport you're going to take and the timetable that you're going to follow for that journey. It's this level of detail that you can capture in your journal. And because it's in here, you don't have to try and think about everything. You don't have to capture everything in your head and store it there and fill up with so much information that it's difficult to track and maintain. The other thing about using your journal, again, whether it's one of these hardback books or a little pocket book that slips easily into the back of your trousers or into a handbag or a man bag, is it's helpful to your memory. I don't have to think about the detail of something. I can look it up online on my phone or on my laptop. I can make a little note about the town that I'm going to visit or a museum I want to see. And then I don't have to look at my phone again because everything has been jotted down in my notebook. Maybe it's the opening hours of a restaurant. Maybe it's the nearest metro system. Maybe it is the timings for a particular event or an exhibition or a film screening. It goes into my notebook and I don't have the hassle of looking at digital devices or trying to think, now hang on, what channel was I on when I saw this information? No, because when I've got the information I want, I record it and I don't need to look at it anywhere else. It helps my memory. And in the same way that your journal will help you to remember things, it also acts as a recall tool. It's very easy, it's beautiful. You can open the page of your journal, flick through to a particular page, and you see something in here, and it instantly takes you back to when that thing happened, how you felt about the situation, and the benefits or opportunities that come from looking at what happened. You have that instant access to recall when you need it. Where else do you get great benefit from using a personal journal? I think it's the ultimate goal-setting tool. You capture the information in a notebook with your pen, and you set your goals in a very private space. There's nobody else involved. This is an incredibly personal instrument that you get to use for your advantage and to your total benefit to set goals that are important to you, that are special, and you're putting personal aspects of your life into your notebook in such a way that you can say, this is where I am right now, and I would like to advance this situation or change this set of circumstances. And using your journal as a goal setting tool, you can jot down in a very private way the things that you want to do and the techniques or methods or steps you might use or take to progress your ambitions, to put you in a different set of circumstances at some time in the future. So it's very much personal aspects. It's for your eyes only. A lot of us think, oh, I've got my notebook. What happens if it falls into the hands of somebody else? Well, it's not going to happen. And if it does, there's nothing you can do about it. At the time that you use your journal, it is for you. It's a private instrument, and it is only for your attention. So you can put things in here that are intensely personal as you focus on goals that are important to you. And moving a few months or a few years into the future, you can look back on a collection of journals and you can see where you have come and what you have done with that information over several years, and be very proud of yourself, because it's your journal that allows you to set those goals, to say, I'm moving forward, this is what I've done, this is where I have come from, and allow yourself to feel tremendously proud for the achievements, the transactions, the progress that you've made over a period of time. And it starts by making some goal-setting entries in your journal and thinking on those and realizing the value of them to your future life as you move forward to the next stages of your situation and the next things in your life that you can be proud of. The fourth thing that I think daily journaling gives you is the ability to track everything. And when I say everything, I do mean the details of your life. It could be that you want to use your journal as a place to store contact information, to keep favorite recipes. You might want to track your spending habits, to write down what you've learned this particular week as an educational reminder of the progress you're making. You can use it as a shopping list. You can use it as a way of tracking your investments. You might do an investment every Friday, and if you look back over the course of a month, you can see the value of those investments being made small, steady investments week on week on week and building up over months and years. Use it as a tool for tracking all sorts of things. You can track exercise, you can track blood pressure, you can track your reading habits. You can take books from the shelves and you can read a book, make notes in your journal about why that book was special, what it meant to you, what you learned from the characters or the non-fiction progress of the book, and you get to track everything so that when you're ready to say to a friend, oh, I read this book last year. Now, what was it? When did I read it? Oh, yes, here it is. It's in the index of your journal, and you can then make a great recommendation of that book or that investment product to a friend because you tracked everything. And I think the other thing that is value as part of this tracking process, the fourth benefit that I see, is it's a future use tool. If you can look at what you made as an investment decision 3 years ago from your journals, and if you're new to journaling, 3 years seems a long time, but it will go like that, and you'll be glad that you did start tracking, you did start logging, I don't know, your general fitness or your weight or the number of times you swam in a week, or your word count if you're a creative artist writing type like me. I put my daily word count in my journals, and then that allows me to know that I am on track or off track according to what my journal reminds me that I have done. It shows me my progress. It shows me the state of the situation I'm in according to the goals I set when I looked at it as a tracking tool, as one of the earlier benefits that I've listed here in this video. And the final benefit of having a journaling, maintaining a regular journal, daily hopefully, but if it's 3 or 4 times a week, that's completely fine. You don't have to set yourself a journaling task that is too much for you when you get started. The fifth benefit, the one that I look at tremendously, is using my journal as my best reflection tool. How did I feel about myself on a certain day? When you did this and you wrote it in your journal, how were you feeling? Were you proud, happy, a little bit sad, excited about something that you're working towards? All of that you can track in your journal, and this becomes a superb reflection tool for who you are on a certain day of the year, how you feel, what your situation is, looking at who you are in the world and how you present yourself in the world, but more importantly, how you feel about your situation and the progress you are making or not making sometimes towards those things which are important to you. So use it as a best reflection tool. One of the things I've written here in my notes, because of course I used a journal here to make my notes for the video. So one of the things I've said here is use it as a best reflection tool. How did you feel at a given moment? What could you have done differently or better? And where are you now? And based on that, what comes next? And of course, what comes next goes back into your journal, and you are in that cycle of growing and learning and tracking and monitoring and reflecting upon all the things that make you who you are. But now you have a way of tracking and monitoring and capturing all that information for your own great benefit. I hope this has been a helpful video. I only wanted it to be this short so that I could cover those 5 things. And those 5 things are: use your journal and daily journaling as a way to anchor yourself. Use it as a record of the events of your day. See your journal as a tool that gives you the ability to set goals for yourself. See and enjoy the value of your journal as a tool for tracking everything that happens. And finally, use your journal as the best possible reflection tool that allows you to focus your thinking, encapsulate the progress that you're making, and see it as an instrument by which you can make slight course adjustments or adaptations to your behavior so that the next week and the following month and the next quarter are better for all the reasons that you choose and which are important to the way you want to live your life. Happy journaling.